Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to What is Up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Get Book Solid. David Meltzer, Lacey Book, and Shawn Dill here with you, enjoying your eggs and bacon, and maybe even coffee together and talking shop. What better way to start the day than with the amazing David Meltzer? First and foremost, hey, David, we're super excited and proud. This is election season, and you have won the election. You were just named the grand king of all things Think and Grow Rich. Huge announcement this last weekend. Tell us about this project, how it came about, and what benefit all of your fans, admirers, followers, students, people that just love to watch what you're doing, what benefit that's going to bring to all of us.
Yeah, well, we won, considering you and Lacey are two of my closest partners and friends. So we won, but I came about because I studied Napoleon Hill and utilized Napoleon Hill to become the chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute and with Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil. And as I was telling Lacey, went down to the archives at the University of Virginia, and there's more content that hasn't been seen by the world than has been seen. So I'm really looking forward to, with partners like Lacey and you, to revitalize the extraordinary wisdom and faith that Napoleon Hill has instilled and empowered in me. And the greatest thing about the announcement, which was on Saturday and then went public on Monday with all the news wires and everything picking it up, was it was amazing who reached out to tell me what an impact Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, and his content, the wisdom and faith. Some of the biggest people in the world reached out. One of the first people was Mark Cuban. I had no idea. An IU alum, by the way, 8-0 IU, where all my friends gather to party without me and Lacey. But beyond that, Mark and John Hennessy, chairman of Alphabet, and Sadhguru, Deepak, actually. So it's amazing in every aspect what impact this material has, and it just needs to be revitalized and amplified. And those are what I am good at, is putting things into context and then amplifying it and revitalizing it.
Hey, David, when was that book originally written, Think and Grow Rich? Do you know?
Outwitting the Devil was 1938. Think and Grow Rich was, I don't know the exact date, but I probably should. But 1912 or 13, I believe.
Earlier, that's what I thought. Yeah,
it was earlier. And then they didn't release Outwitting the Devil until 2011 with Sharon Lecter, because it took till after. He was afraid there'd be the institutions coming at him, the religious teaching, the education, the politics, because his vision way back then was the reality of today.
Yeah. I mean, but what I love about his work, and I mean, there is quite a few people that do this or have done this, is that it really stands a test of time, right? In an age where we are trying to innovate everything, there is content out there that just is our universal truths. And it's a good reminder that sometimes you just have to go back to that and stop trying to just innovate and have everything be new, right?
Yeah, I study cliches, and I love when people say, I know it's cliche, but, and I always say, well, pay attention. What do you mean? I said, it wouldn't be a cliche unless it's withstood the test of time. It wouldn't be overused unless it stood the test of time.
Right.
And so there's a lot of power for things that have. And the two things that really I want people to know that have stood the test of time is, one, the definite purpose, which great leaders later on called intention. People call it singularity of focus. And then the other is control of impulse. And so there's the combination of wisdom and faith, of ego. All of human nature is encompassed and aligned with how to live your life. And when he says rich, it doesn't mean just financially.
Right.
So it's completely aligned with making a lot of money, helping a lot of people, and having a lot of fun. That's his definition of rich, but not use those words.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about this, and I think that these two things actually tie in together. If you look on social media, if you turn on your television, the election in the United States is what dominates the discussion of today. 7 days away from the election. And that means that two individuals, in essence, competing against each other in a vote of popularity and all of the platform and other reasons. That means that one individual will win. And kind of as you were saying, well, we all win, and not just Shawn and Lacey, but all followers of David, all collaborators of David Meltzer. And the same thing in the election. All of the supporters of one candidate will win, but also all of the supporters of another candidate will feel like a loss. We'll feel like all of our hard work, all of our effort, all of my social media posts, all of my commenting back and forth, we was all for naught. We did not win, or my candidate did not win the election. Tie that to this title of the book, Think and Grow Rich. And you brought up, well, rich doesn't mean just financially. But I think that oftentimes we gloss over the first word, because it was think and grow rich. Think, what we think then translates into our reality, what happens to us, our experience. And the way we think is critical. So, in this time of an election, I would love to talk about loss and thinking your way out of that situation. 7 days from now, a lot of people are going to wake up, go and vote, and then in the evening feel the effects of a loss. One day later, they may then translate that into their relationships, their work, into everything else. And then we start this string of losses. Your person lost the election, and now your workplace is affected, and now your relationships are affected. How do we maintain these bumpers on our thinking to make sure that we don't let all of the external bleed into our minds and then start to manifest itself as a losing streak?
This is why I call you my best friend, because you and I are on the same frequency without even speaking about it. I had a post that said yesterday that this may piss everybody off, but no matter who wins a week from now, we all will be better off. And what's already occurring is that both parties are worried more that the other party will win than putting their singularity of focus and controlling their impulse on how we are going to make this country better, which, by the way, I promise you that everything will be better in my life. Everything will be better. My work, my family, my health, everything will be better in my life, no matter who the fuck wins. And everything will not be better for a majority of the people, no matter who wins. They may blame it on who is president, just like they're doing right now, and just like they did previously when President Trump was there. Oh, and previously when Bush and Reagan and Nixon and Clinton and Obama. You see, it is not the book itself. It's not the outcome that affects your life. It's the income. And I'm not talking about financial income. It's what you are putting in your system. That's what Lacey's business is about. And I tell you that it probably pisses everybody off that I keep telling you, I am going to be so much better off no matter who do you think's going to win, Dave? I don't really give a fuck. Right? I get one vote. I get one vote. That's all I get. One vote out of 160 million votes that'll be casted with an electoral college that's probably unjust and has been gerrymandered and facilitated. But I don't give a fuck because that's not my job. My job is to make everything better. I'm BASF of America. And why don't everyone stop worrying about who's going to win and start putting a singularity of focus on how to make their life better, and so that they can give more to make other people's lives better?
One of the things that I always tell myself, because I mean, one of the main topics people talk about is the economy, right? What's going to happen with the economy? The middle class getting squeezed out. We're under pressure. Money's getting stretched, and I get it. People are definitely feeling that way, but they're feeling that way. They're thinking that way, and that's what you're talking about. And I remember the first time I heard this line: "The world's economy is not my economy." Like, just to be able to say, like, that's not for me. I'm choosing to not participate in that. I am going to think and focus on myself, be in alignment with who I am, and do what's best for me. And then the universe will provide. And I remember the first time I heard that and going, I love that line. Like, I'm going to try that on for size, right? The world's economy is not my economy. I don't have to participate in that and believe that everything that is happening around me is happening to me, right? The whole idea is that it's happening around me, right? The only way it happens to me is if I participate in it. And so whatever happens with the election, I'm going to choose to participate in my destiny and my own reality and not everything else that's happening around me, right? And I think it's important for people to think that way. And I know there's people out there going, well, that's crazy. Like, it is happening to me. It is if you think it is, right? And we talk about that and it feels a little bit crazy, but it's just, that's the truth. That's the universal truth. That's the Think and Grow Rich.
How many times, how many things can you find that are better today for less money? If I put an assignment to one of my interns and said, hey, I just want you to go on Amazon today and spend the whole day finding items that are less expensive than they were and are better than they were.
Right.
Oh my goodness, the world is amazing. The income's, oh no, but gas is up, so our economy sucks. Oh, a loaf of bread is more expensive. Acai bowl is $25, so Jeff Fenster is going to go out of business. Well, maybe you should work on finding a better supply chain, because as far as I know, you could spend the next 6 years on Amazon and continue to list out products that are better. I bought 100 microfiber washcloths. 100. These things are amazing.
Why?
They're like having, yeah, like that, because they came in a pack of 100 and they were $3.99. And like these things were like having sex with myself. It was amazing, rubbing myself with this soft washcloth. I don't need Julie anymore. She doesn't need me. We have 100 sessions right there that I could shower with. It's beautiful. For $3.99. Like, talk about change. I'm thinking the economy is exceptional. You just have to think and grow rich. And let's everybody stop worrying about who's going to win. And let's start putting our singularity of focus, our defined purpose, our intention of what we say, do, think, feel, and believe, that everything's better. And guess what? You give meaning to everything you see. We can find the light, the love, and the lessons. And instead of interfering with progress and making it worse, let's all lean into the progress and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is all fantastic. And I want to be also the arbiter here a little bit, because it's really easy to say that when it's not you. So I have a very close friend going through some real relationship challenges. So when you're having relationship challenges, financial challenges, and you listen to that, you're like, yeah, that's nice. Nice Instagram live, you two. Fantastic. But this is what is actually happening to me. Like, and I even think, like, David, you're very transparent and share your story. In the moment that you were going through your financial challenges, in the moment, were you just like, yeah, this is so great. I'm so grateful. In the moment, you're walking into the banks and they're like, yeah, dude, like, no, we can't help you. How do we create or cut that refractory period? Because in the moment, it's impossible to just be like, yeah, I was going to remember what Dave and Lacey were saying. This is great. My relationship crumbling around me. It's not happening. It's not happening to me, but it is. It's like, it's what is going on right now. So I need to get out of that. How do I get out of that?
Time, right? So when I had to walk up to my mom's house and tell her that I lost everything, including her home, and she has to move, and my wife was leaving me, and the list goes on, and people were suing me. My friends were blaming me for their bankruptcies, and the list goes on and on and on. Instead of, as I am today, 18 years later, spending minutes and moments reacting to fear with anger, worry, frustration, resentment, guilt. I spent minutes and moments in a defined purpose, in intention. And the next day, I spent more than minutes and moments. I spent 2 minutes and then 4 minutes and then 8 minutes until the pendulum swung back into the favor. You see, I made many mistakes, but with commitment, you'll never fail. And I stayed committed to making things better. They weren't better. I cried myself to sleep. I worried about what I didn't have, what I had lost, what other people thought of me. Fear of poverty is one of the greatest fears on earth. Fear of other people's opinion is another great fear. Fear of death is another great fear. And when shit like that happens, like to your friend, when your most intimate relationship is failing and your business is failing and other things are failing, your bank account is zero. It's the mistakes that were made, they're not going to alleviate it. It's the commitment to doing better, to getting better. And if you're committed to do so, the aggregation, acceleration, and compounding will take effect in an infinite time, at the right place at the perfect time. If your purpose is greater than that pain, you will never quit. And what I'm telling people is, yes, you're going to get kicked in the balls probably 8 times a day. And sometimes when all 8 kicks come at once, you may fall over, but look up at least if you can't get up. And tomorrow, look up and try to get up, but stay committed to the progress and you will not fail. And it will suck, but that's okay, because if you stay committed, the suck will end up being your greatest power.
Yeah, commitment really is like a muscle, right? I mean, and the reality of it is when you're in your hardest and darkest moments and there is things happening in your life, to stay committed, it's extremely difficult, right? But it's tension. It's the tension, like when you're lifting weights in those dark moments, that allows the commitment to become super, super strong. And if you can get out of that and stay committed, commitment's easier on the other side, which is what creates success. And so I know a lot of people, have difficulty in those times. I mean, you said you get kicked in the balls. I've been kicked in the balls and I don't even have any, you know what I mean? A million times over. And so, but it's true. The reality of it is we've all been there. And that's what differentiates people that can live the life that they truly desire, is the ability, like you said, to stick the path, to have a purpose that's stronger than the pain, to have a purpose that drives the commitment. And so in these moments where there's so much unknown, who's going to win the election, what's going to happen, what's going to look like a year from now, 2 years from now, if you can stay the path and be committed to what's supposed to be rightfully yours and you're in alignment with it, that's how you win, right?
Yeah.
I hear all these people too. It's interesting when you're saying that, Lacey, that in my day, I spend all day talking to people and consulting, coaching. And one thing I hear a lot is, I'm going to wait until after the election. And I want to go back to like what David said. What exactly will be different next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Now I can make this decision. But that, speaking to entrepreneurs, that also, brings me to this idea of the purpose of expenses. That expenses, the purpose that we have expenses is to drive revenue. Expenses drive revenue. And so it's the same thinking of, man, things are tight, I'm going to cut expenses. Well, expenses drive revenue. So if you understand how that works, you are compounding on the problem. You are now also cutting your revenue. Now, a lot of us have expenses that are not really expenses, because by definition, if they do not drive revenue, they're just superfluous costs. They're just things, right? But a true expense drives revenue. And I think that it's that same thing with energy, right? And Dave, you love this, but when things are difficult, we have to increase our energetic expenses. We need to make deposits. We need to release that positive energy into things that can then drive positive results. Rich, think. So I'm going to expend thinking, energy, effort, and grow rich, revenue. And again, revenue not just being dollars, but also relationships, all of that. And the worst thing that you can do is to cut expenses when you're like, oh, I'm going to wait. Or in the same case, cut your thinking because I'm just going to wait until after the election. Like, should we make this move? Well, I'm going to wait until this point. And what you're doing is then you're guaranteeing that you have nothing but frozen, stagnant progress from here until whatever that point is. Like, why would you wait until next Wednesday to decide to move forward? That doesn't make any sense at all when we can start thinking today about that forward progress, regardless of all of these external things. And that's one of the things that I love about Think and Grow Rich. Anytime I get to speak about Think and Grow Rich, I love to emphasize that think portion, because it's so easy to be like, yes, I want to grow rich. This is great. But we forget, like, the first word is, yeah, but you have to think first.
It's funny that you say that because, I always talk about don't move because of taxes. And I want to move to Florida to be with Shawn and Lacey, and my wife doesn't want to move because of her hair. But we don't want to move to save the taxes. That's foolish, because dummy tax will cost you everything you've ever had and everything you will have. And thinking alleviates the dummy tax. So I'm always going to alleviate the dummy tax and ask for help from people who sit in that situation. But another expense, and I just was speaking to one of our shared friends and clients, and it applies to what's going on in all three of our businesses as well, is, I'm looking at capabilities to supplement with AI and with outsourcing. And I thought when I had outsourced capability that I was doing it because it was less expensive capability, or it was less expensive and more capability for less expense. But little did I realize that the greatest expense of having transferred those capabilities outside of full-time employees is the emotional expense. That the biggest advantage that I see in virtual assistants, and if I was, the VA group pitching, I wouldn't pitch on price that, this is better executive assistant for less money. I'd simply start listing out the emotional expense of having a full-time employee be an executive assistant and having to deal with all the emotional expenses that are involved with the engagement, accessibility, lying to yourselves and others, the student of the calendar, the scheduling issues, all the things that create emotional expenses in our lives. And this, again, take the election, because that I'm hearing it a lot. Well, let's just wait till after the election. I was like, why aren't you preparing for A and B? So if you think it makes a difference, then why would you wait till next Wednesday to say, if A wins, I should do this, and if B wins, I should do this for my community, for my finances, for my faith, whatever it is. And it doesn't make sense that you wouldn't take Shawn's advice and prepare, because preparation brings confidence and comfortability. You might as well start being comfortable and confident no matter who wins, to make your life better regardless who wins. Why don't you tell me anyone a better option than that? I am going to make my life better no matter who wins. What am I going to need to do, say, think, feel, and believe in order to do that? That's what Napoleon Hill would do. That's what Rockefeller would do. That's what Carnegie would do. That's what so many great leaders that we have learned from, the wisdom, would have that faith that that's what we should do.
I love it. Let's end with what you're excited about. Let's get some positive energy going.
I'm excited about seeing Shawn Dill tomorrow at SoFi Stadium. We got a content day. We got office hours filming, New York. I'm speaking. Lacey, you'll love this. I got hired for a jewelry, the biggest one in the world, the jewelry conference in Cancun. So I'm curious. It's a higher paying gig, but I'm curious how much it's going to cost me. I'm trying to convince Julie to go to the cenotes, not to the conference. I want to
take speaking money is going to go right back to them
and grow rich. I don't want to speak and have a jewelry expense.
That's right.
What are you excited about, Lacey?
I'm excited. I'm actually doing a magazine cover tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. That'll be fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are off to SoFi. We'll be there all day tomorrow doing a content day. We have lots of exciting opportunities coming up. We're going to be out in New York in November, and super excited to take some non-business related travel with David and Julie and Rory and his wife.
Join us for the
in
UFC
November.
Mastermind in New York City. We have a couple spots left in a suite. If you want to see Michael Chandler kick some butt, want to learn how content can be utilized in order to facilitate your community, your brand, product, service, or solution, and then make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. All three of us will be facilitating that type of experience, and a VIP dinner, by the way. We'll bring in some outside celebrities, athletes, entertainers, billionaires, millionaires, and entrepreneurs. Be part of the neighborhood, the frequency, and join us. It is guaranteed, by the way, to have a quantitative value and a subjective value in your life. I promise you. So email us, reach out to us, join us November 15th and 16th in New York City.
And right before that whole week, the week of November 11th, everybody mark it down. The week of November 11th, on the 12th and 13th, the three of us are going to be in Las Vegas with David for his amazing, award-winning, highly acclaimed television show, Office Hours. There's a VIP dinner in Las Vegas as well. So if you're on the West Coast, hit us up November 12th and 13th. The dinner's on the 13th. And then on November 15th and 16th, for all of you East Coasters, travel up to New York City. We'll be there with an amazing mastermind and VIP dinner. And we have a few spots left to attend UFC 309 in the amazing suite that we have procured. Guys, fantastic show today. David, once again, congratulations. Lacey and I are so proud of all of the things that you're doing and the impact that you're making on the world. We're honored and privileged to be able to share this show with you. Thank you for allowing us to do this with you. And to everybody else, don't worry about the dang election. Think and grow rich. Have a good day.
Love you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to